Hey you guys, it's your girl T, and I had this really disturbing story, and it's coming from New Mexico. I don't think we've ever done a New Mexico story on my channel, but this story is really disturbing. We're not being charged with murder. This situation is insane. These teenagers had caught themselves going on a mobbing spree, meaning that they were breaking into people's cars, breaking into people's homes, stealing their items, stealing their goods. They had been doing this off and on for a few weeks. So what ended up happening is that they ended up going into this man's house. His name was Stephen Grecky, and he was a really popular bartender. So they were in his house, basically robbing him of his goods. What happened supposedly is that either Stephen was at the house or he was coming from work, and he caught these guys in the middle of the act robbing him of his goods. So he went to chase them out the house, and one of the teenagers pulled out a gun and literally shot this man point blank in the head. They jumped in his stolen car and they just rode off into the sunset laughing about it. This whole situation is such a mess. The police have been following these teenagers for the past week. They were tracing their credit card purchases that they stole from this man. They had literally been watching these kids. These kids have been under investigation. They thought they were going to get away with this, but now the system is having the last laugh. I want you guys to go ahead and check out these news clips. I'm going to come back with the rest of my commentary.
I want the assailants to be tried and punished as adults, as they did the adult crime and they will do the adult time.
The community is devastated at the loss.
The daughter of murdered bartender Steve Garrick speaks out about the teens charged with his murder. Police say the boys, all minors as young as 14, were out mobbing, breaking into cars and homes.
After they broke into Garrick's Northeast Heights home 2 weeks ago, he confronted them and they gunned him down. Police say they tracked the boys down through credit cards they stole that night and surveillance video of the boys using those cards.
Without the assistance of the retailers and the other people who provided us with specific information, including video footage, I don't think we'd be where we are on this case.
4 of the 6 teens faced a judge today, charged as adults.
Their families were in the courtroom too, and News 13's Chris McKee questioned them as they walked out. He's live outside the courthouse. Chris?
Dean and Jessica, many of these family members were in tears today as these boys were led into the courtroom. But one of the teens had a far different response to the seriousness of facing a murder charge.
After watching them shuffle into court, handcuffed and shackled, there were no words from the tearful parents and families of the 4 teenagers accused of killing Stephen Garrick. We questioned the families as they walked out of court today.
Why do you think Jeremiah would have done something like this? Some people are saying that the parents are to blame for this. Is there anything you guys want to say at all?
But no one would talk.
Andrew Hubler.
15-year-old Andrew Hubler, 16-year-olds Christopher Rodriguez and Jeremiah King, and 17-year-old Ryan Archibeque. These 4 teens are facing murder charges as adults.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Only Ryan Archibeque had a job and was still in school and had no prior criminal history. We asked his family about that.
Is there anything you guys would like to say about your kid, Ryan? Why he would do something like this?
The other 3 teens had recent lives of crime. Police records show they had run-ins for burglary, stealing, car theft, running away, and more.
Would you feel he's a danger to the community?
Based on the charges, the judge set everyone's bond the same.
Sir, I'm also going to do a $250,000 cash-only bond in this matter.
Attorneys say none of the parents will likely be able to pay that much. The teens didn't talk in court, but 16-year-old Christopher Rodriguez offered us this, his middle finger to News 13's camera right in the middle of the courtroom.
Now, police are not ruling out the possibility that other teens could be involved in this case and could be arrested sometime in the future. Jessica, back to you.
All right, thank you, Chris. A lot of you are calling out the teens' parents on the KRQE Facebook page, saying they failed to do their jobs. Even the mayor questioned their parenting.
You know, these kids aren't out committing these crimes without somebody out there promoting them to do that, in my opinion.
Police say the parents of the teens could also face charges for letting their kids run wild late at night. APD says it's also contacted CYFD about looking into these families. What went terribly wrong leading these kids down this path at such a young age? News 13's Gabrielle Burkhart spoke with people who knew one of the 14-year-olds well. Gabrielle?
Jessica, the community is searching for answers here. 2 of the boys charged in this murder were too young to join their friends in court today. A man I spoke with says one of those teens didn't have parents around to guide him.
They executed my father in a horrific way. My dad didn't deserve this.
Heather Alter is suffering the loss of her father. Police say 60-year-old Steve Garrick was gunned down in his driveway last month when he confronted a group of teenagers who had just robbed his house. Police say 16-year-old Jeremiah King pulled the trigger and laughed about it as he drove away with his 5 friends, ages 14 to 17.
I want to address the parents of these animals. Where were you? Why did you let your children run the streets at 3 a.m.?
No one has answered that question yet. 14-year-olds Enrique, Palomino, and Matthew Baldonado were not in court due to their age. This man, who doesn't want to be identified, says he knows Palomino well.
He was supposed to be in CYFD custody.
He says Palomino was in CYFD custody and ran away from a group home in Portales last year. CYFD could only confirm the 14-year-old was in their custody at some point, but couldn't go into details due to privacy laws.
It blows my mind that these kids are running out and in the middle of the night like this.
This woman says she also knew Palomino. Police say he's the one who told detectives he and his friends were, quote, mobbing neighborhoods, breaking into random cars and homes. It's the same MO captured on home surveillance from a separate case last month.
How confident are you that these are the same kids involved in that?
100%.
Police haven't confirmed that. Garrick was a longtime bartender at Spectator's Bar. Friends, family, and the community want justice.
It's heartbreaking.
I hold you, the parents, responsible. Just know a tsunami is coming.
I also spoke with a teacher at Highland High School where some of these teens went to school. He says a lot of teachers and administrators have trouble disciplining kids in class for fear of retaliation from parents. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Gabrielle. The man we spoke with says Palomino's dad is in prison and his mother doesn't keep close tabs on him.
There are a lot of other people that these boys terrorized. Police say they stole other cars and broke into many homes. In one of those homes, Charles Lawson was sound asleep when he heard a noise from the other room. Police say it was the teens inside rummaging through his things, even going to his bedroom and stealing his pants from his bed.
I went in the closet there and got me another pair of pants and ran out, and by then they were going up the street.
Police say the boys fired shots as they took off. A memorial service is planned tomorrow for Steve Garrick. It's set for 11 tomorrow morning at Balloon Fiesta Park.
This could have been anybody's father, grandfather, husband, brother. It just happened to be Steve. And if he would have stopped at Walgreens on his way home, it would have been another family.
A memorial in Steve's honor is up at Spectator's Bar and Grill. He worked as a bartender there for 25 years.
All right, so you guys just watched the news clip, and I think what is so disturbing about this is that the youngest ones of this crew, there's 2 14-year-olds in this crew. Now, you guys remember when I did the story about the little black boy, how him and his brothers, they went out there and they had robbed and killed that man. Now, that boy is 12 years old, and he's being charged as an adult, but these 2 14-year-olds are still being charged as juveniles. So I find that really funny that one child in one state can be charged as an adult, but then in another state, 2 14-year-olds are charged as juveniles. I feel like all these fools should be charged as adults. My thing is, if you're grown enough to go ahead and start mobbing and breaking into people's houses and stealing their goods, stealing their cars and everything else, then you get what you get. They took this man's life for no apparent reason. So many people dropped the ball in this situation. You see the family members crying and carrying on. But my thing is, where the hell were you when your child was running the streets at 3 o'clock in the morning? I have a 14-year-old, and guess what? At 3 o'clock in the morning, he's in my house. I know where he's at. There's no way in hell that my 14-year-old can be running the streets at 3 a.m. doing what the hell he wants to do. He's now grown and he pays no bills. Now, I understand it's summertime, so he can stay up a little bit later, but what you're not going to do is run the streets at 3 a.m. You know, a lot of folks dropped the ball. I don't understand where the hell these parents were when these kids were running the streets for weeks. And the police department, to me, also dropped the ball because many people caught the police department. Many people filed complaints about cars being broken into, their homes being burglarized. The police knew that these kids were running around mobbing and, you know, robbing people, but yet and still none of these kids were taken into custody until something bad happened. You know, this is insane. Now these kids want to be somber. They want to look pitiful. Now they want to sit here and talk about their juveniles and they're sorry. Well, you know what? There's no coming back from death. That man, Steven, can never get his life back. You know what I'm saying? You know, this is just really sad. I don't understand what's going on with so many young people who are just out here not thinking for themselves. They're just out here on this sheeple mentality, you know, causing destruction, causing chaos, and now killing people. You know, this is really sad. We had children of the cornbread going into Walmart and acting a fool. Now we have these damn children of the corn down in Arizona, you know, robbing folks and then killing somebody. I mean, this to me is just really damn ridiculous. What happened to just being a child? You know, when I was 14 years old, I was hanging out with my friends. I was having a good time. I never thought about breaking into somebody's house. I never thought about breaking into somebody's car, and let alone shooting and killing somebody. It's like, what the hell is going on with these kids? This story is just really, really disturbing. You know, it's just really disturbing that in the past 24 hours, I've had to do 2 stories about not one, but several children under the age of 18 caught up in a murder. I mean, this makes no sense. Anyways, you guys, I'm done with my rant. Let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. How do you guys feel about this story? And then what do you guys think should happen to these kids? Should they be all charged as adults? And then how do you feel about the 12-year-old boy in Omaha being charged as an adult, but then these 14-year-old boys down in Arizona, they're only being charged as juveniles? So let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. Go ahead and leave a comment. All right. Deuces.
Hey YouTube, it's your girl Lovely T, and you can show me some love by hitting that subscribe button, watching my previous videos, and following me on social media.